Hi, it's time for coffee talk, isn't it? It is a Monday morning. It is January the 10th, 8 o'clock on the dot. I'm first morning meteorologist Eric Burris. Hope you're having a great start to the day. Weather-wise, it is absolutely beautiful. Hope you had a great weekend, too. Let's see here. Anything crazy? Oh, yeah, we've got a cold front moving our direction. Let's chat about that. And, of course, everything else in the world of weather, hopefully getting your day started off on the right note. We'll begin over in Brevard County. Melbourne, rise and shine, my friends. Blue sky. It is beautiful. Temperatures across central Florida are certainly starting in a mild register. We're at 61 degrees in Melbourne. We're sitting at about 63 in Orlando. 62 Daytona Beach, 62 degrees in the Villages. It looks great outside. It feels great. Deborah, Frank, Dan, Tim, good morning, everybody. Jennifer, good morning to you. Nikki, good morning. John, how are you? Hope you're having a great start to the day. When I was in on Sunrise yesterday, I was tracking temperatures running 10 to 20 degrees warmer than Saturday morning. Today, across the interior, that warming trend continues, but with a bit of an adjustment in the breeze. Our coastal communities are a little cooler. So this morning, no matter where you are in Central Florida, it is beautiful. But what about later, right? This is where we get into some of that like asterisk stuff, right? So let's just take a look. Chances of rain are going up through the early, mid, and even late afternoon. It is in that time frame, my friends, that we're going to be watching a cold front bringing with showers. Not really expecting anything to be too strong, which is certainly a good thing. But nevertheless, do want to make sure that you're aware, want to make sure that you plan accordingly, that there is going to be some rain in the forecast. And of course, we've got Futurecast. We're going to zero in on that for you, neighborhood by neighborhood. But let's start off with just a glance at what's going on. Right now, the satellite and the radar showing that cold front, it is in North Florida, okay? We are developing some showers out ahead of that front, and we actually see those on our first warning Doppler radar. Take a look here. Earlier this morning, had some rain scooting through our area. They have since faded, but as we zero in on our first warning Doppler radar, you can see across the Nature Coast there, near Denellen and Hernando, up around Hernando County, there are some showers. Actually, look at that, you little buggers around Lake Weir, Weirsdale, and the Villages spotted these little guys. Let's zoom in here. See, I say there's no showers, and then Mother Nature goes and fools me. Super. Thanks, Mother Nature. But the big focal point that I want to make sure you're aware of, the big point, is the fact that most of the showers are later in the day. So again, one or two sprinkles. The next couple of hours, a 10% chance of rain. It's not going to be a big deal. But into the afternoon, that's where, and again, it's not going to be a massive deal. There's just going to be some rain around. So I do want to make sure that you're aware of it. Carla, Denise, Jennifer, good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. Nancy, good morning. Time again to binge Full House and Fuller House. It's very sad. Yeah. Sonia, good morning to you down the road. Jennifer over on YouTube, good morning to you. Carolyn, I want a strong thunderstorm right over my house. Well, so then that does ask the question, what kind of rains are we looking at? Let's tap into our Futurecast here. Give me a minute. Hold on, let me see. This is where I do wish that I had a real mouse because I could control my wheel. All right, so there's 8 o'clock this morning. We do see some showers in North Florida, 9, 10, 11 o'clock, kind of watching a few of those showers sneaking into the metro area. You're not seeing vibrant colors, which is not good for any kind of heavy downpours. You can see a few showers around, maybe a downpour or so, but nothing to be too strong or severe. Let's switch over to Beta Futurecast and eyeball that. A couple of light showers this morning, a couple of little pockets of rain. Now, Beta Futurecast is trying to go with some downpours around the metro. That's a possibility. Let's take a look and see if there's any indicator of thunder. Hold on a second. Stand by. There we are. All right, so lightning. Let's just look at Futurecast. Yeah, maybe a thunderstorm. You can kind of see it's trying to show like a little thunderstorm in the metro area. But again, all said and done, we're not overly concerned about that. It's just going to be the opportunity to see a little bit of rainfall today. But this is all a part of a cold front, right? So what does that mean? Well, for today, our high temperature gets to be about 80 degrees. For tomorrow, our high temperature gets to be about 68 degrees. We've been talking about this for a while, but yes, the temperatures are going down for the next couple of days. We're shifting around again. That means I may have to throw on a jacket to do coffee talk outside. Dan had a fantastic reminder of how great the move to Florida was years ago. Friend's flight was canceled from Sanford to Syracuse due to the airport being closed due to too much ice that they couldn't control. Yeah, that's 68 for a high is our down on the roller coaster. Remember that. Remember that. Mercy, thank you so much for the kind words. I appreciate it. Hope you're doing well. Nikki, good morning. Stephanie, good morning to you. Beverly says, not too bad. It's true. Not too bad at all. Yeah, Beverly, not too bad. Not too bad. Carolyn, wind chills in the Boston area are going to be around 15 below tomorrow morning. Yeah, that's just nothing that I want to have anything to do with. I've got, hold on, let's look at the, I hit the wrong button, y'all. Here we go. Let's just look at temperatures outside right now. It's 8 below. This is actual temperatures. 8 below in Minneapolis. It's 14 in Chicago. It is 32 in Washington and 29 in Boston. If we take a look at snow, there's snow covering the ground in many locations. And you can see there's that kind of next storm system right there moving toward Kansas City. That's nothing that I want to be partaking in at all. Meanwhile, that cold front that we're tracking over us, looking at the day, it brings us showers, right? Then as it pushes to the south, we are watching cooler air, drier, cooler air diving in, and that's going to make for a much cooler and breezy day tomorrow. It's going to be a stunning day, but all that cool air diving in, yeah, it might be a jacket-worthy morning for sure. So keep that in mind. Let's see here. Kenneth, either Facebook is being mean or a lot of regulars are not awake this morning. Yeah, you know, with Facebook and their algorithms, you just can never know. You just can never know. So we do our thing. We do our thing. It's independent of Facebook, and yeah, that's that. In the meantime, if it feels a little-ish muggy this morning, it is a little-ish, right? Humidity has come up a little bit. I think it's still super great. Anything below a dew point temperature of 70 is great. So like this morning, dew point temperature was like 66. It'll be dropping into the 40s and 50s over the next couple of days. So we go from comfy, which is very comfy, to straight up pleasant. So we're back to that kind of cooler, drier air. So the muggy meter continues to look outstanding, which means if you're trying to make outdoor plans, like heading out to the attractions today, we do have a couple of passing showers around. No big deal, but showers certainly are going to be in our forecast. All right, so keep that in mind. But over the next several days, this kind of stretch of weather looks outstanding. Today's 80 is going to be the warm day of the week. And then looking ahead, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we kind of drop temperatures and keep them at a lowered value for several days, right? Let's take a look at the overall picture, okay? So here we are. There's that front moving south. Tomorrow, cooler, breezy, gorgeous weather. We're going to love it. For your Wednesday, same idea, high pressure and control, staying nice and cool, nice and sunny, nice and beautiful. And then Thursday, we're watching like another front, a weak front, but another front kind of moving in to keep us in this really great territory. So the 7-day forecast is showing beautiful weather, right? Today, the warm one, notice we're not at 80 or anywhere near 80. Through the next 7 days after today. Today's going to be the warm day. We're into the upper 60s, lower 70s, and we're going to stay there right into the weekend. I do want to point out, normal high this time of year is 72. We're going to be right in that ballpark. Normal low is 49. Frankly, we're going to be right in that ballpark. So this front just puts us to where we should be this time of year. So it may feel a little cool for us, but it's just putting us where we should be this time of year. Becca says, good morning, and Coffee Talk family. Mental note, turn on the computer, then get on Coffee Talk. Yeah, well, that's okay. Remember, real life happens. I'm not upset if you don't make it. You come back when you can, that's all. I'm here with you. That's all. Terry says, I can't tell if I'm on Facebook or Twitter. Well, you commented to me on Facebook, so at least there's that. Arnett says, we can use the rain. It's a very true statement. It's a very true statement. You know, and as a matter of fact, you bring that up. Let's just look at the stats for the year. Year-to-date rainfall. Yeah, I mean, no surprise here, but we are running. That's an interesting graphic. Already here 10 days in, and we are half an inch, 3/4 of an inch in Daytona Beach's case, behind average. So, yeah, we're running a little behind a little bit behind the power curve here. Dana, good morning to you. How are ya? Let's see here. Sarah, good morning. How's the 22nd looking? Getting married, and it will be outdoors. Well, let's just take a look and see what our long-range forecast states. Now, before we get into it, long-range forecast. If you're new to Coffee Talk, it may be a new concept to you. We do long-range forecasting here, all right? So the overall idea is we look at weather patterns that occur and recycle over and over and over again. And that's kind of the neat part about long-range forecasting, is using the Lezak recurring cycle, and we've had Gary Lezak on Coffee Talk many times. The overall idea is October and November, a weather pattern sets up, a new weather pattern, and then it loops over and over and over and over again. And it's not the easiest thing to capture, which is why not everybody does this sort of thing. But learning from Gary, I can tell you this is a fantastic, fantastic principle. So based on that, here's our January forecast. Now, I issued it a few days late because of, of course, some family issues in my house, and I hope that that's okay with you. But Sarah, so to answer your question, how's the 22nd looking? There's going to be a front in the vicinity, 21, 22, 23. You can see that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I've got mild frontal showers, then cooler. So there's going to be an opportunity there, right, to see a front moving through, but it doesn't look like it's going to be a massive thing, just some showers. So that's a good thing. Here we are the 10th. I've got cooled and starting to warm. Now, of course, that front is moving in today, so it's running about a half a day behind. That's okay. 12th and 13th, warming temps, coastal showers. Showers weak front this weekend, milder temps. So, yeah, we're kind of, we're in the vicinity there. Looks like the end of January, if you notice the 26th and the 27th, there's a big cold front there. And then it looks like again into February, a big cold front there too. I will say the next clear indicator for severe weather for us is going to be early March. So not to like put it in your calendar or anything, but, just in the back of your mind, start thinking. Start thinking that way, all right? Early March is going to be that. Carolyn, does the cycle length differ depending on location? No, not really. The cycle length is a yearly thing. So each year it has a different cycle length. And actually, Gary Lezak texted me yesterday chatting about it. Poor guy's been working like nonstop. While we're chatting, by the way, I'll just pop up the 7-day forecast. But poor guy's been working nonstop at his television station there in Kansas City. So, but yeah, cycle length this year is like 63.5 to 64 days is what we're looking at. Yeah, Jan, you make it look easy. Trust me, it's not easy. Now, that said, kind of an interesting little weather feature coming up here. The LRC, the LRC had it and the models really didn't. That Wednesday, Thursday front, that's associated with a storm system coming up from the Gulf of Mexico. And I think the models are starting to pick that up. Let's look and see. Give me a minute to do this. All right. Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah, you see that little low pressure area kind of developing over the Gulf of Mexico and working over Florida? You see that right there? Let me tell you something. That right there, my friends, by the way, just so that we're on the same page, that is a clear indicator for hurricane season that something is going to be watched. All right? You see that right there? That is January 13th-ish. So if we just simply look, that's January 13th. Hold on 2 seconds. And I'm going to go back in time. January 13th would be cycle day 32. If we go back to cycle day 32, November 10th. And look at my note for cycle day 32. See, this is where it's wild. Just cycle day 32, Southeast Florida trough. That's a note I took. So let's go to cycle day 32, which was, what was that? That was November 10th. So let's go to November 10th. Give me 2 seconds. LRC, daily weather map. November 10th, 2021. Can you see that? There's a trough over Florida. Let's go back a day. Okay, kind of no trough over Florida, developing trough over Florida. Okay, let's go 1 day forward. Trough starts kind of lifting up toward the northeast. Yep. So, it was there. It was there in November. That is going to be, to me, a pretty easy indicator for hurricane season. So we're definitely not there yet in terms of developing our hurricane season forecast, but we're certainly working on it. We're certainly working on it. And the goal that Jeremy and I have put together for ourselves is we want to have a powwow together early February. We want to go through January, and by early February, we want to start really working on the hurricane season forecast together. So, yeah. Yep. John, more Gulf storms. I mean, that's an indicator. That's certainly an indicator there. Yeah. When does that repeat? In March? Cycle day 32. The next cycle day 32 would be March 18th. And then May 21st. And then July 24th. And then September 26th. So, yeah, it's kind of where we're at. It's all things considered, it's just something interesting to look at. Patty, good morning all. Knee hurts, gonna rain. That's why I hate the cold weather, because it hurts. Yeah, we do have some showers in the forecast today, indeed. There's your 7-day forecast, showing that 50% coverage of showers through the day today. Not a bad one, just a little bit of rain. And then, of course, we kind of watch cooler, drier air moving in this week. Wednesday into Thursday may have some showers kind of trying to sneak on in. So, yeah, that's kind of where we're at. We're working on that hurricane season forecast. Otherwise, it's a nice, fairly quiet weather pattern. That's the good news. I like fairly quiet weather patterns. It gives me a chance to work on the long-range forecast a little bit. Brian, and that's just one system cycle. Are there other systems in the cycle? Oh, yeah. I mean, if you look at my notes, and certainly I'm still developing the notes, but if you look, there's, I've got, Florida wave, Florida. So these are just my, these are just my notes. And I've got, I need to go back in and do more, certainly more analysis. So this is where the long-range forecasting is done, is now that we've established the cycle and we've started putting together these monthly forecasts, as we perfect the monthly forecasts and get better and better and better, it's going to give us an opportunity to continue to work on that hurricane season forecast. This is a particularly difficult, I will say, out of all the years that I've been doing this, and it's not a ton, I think this is my third year doing this, third or fourth year doing this, off air. It's going to be my second year doing it publicly. This is the hardest one. It's very complex, this one in particular, but don't worry, we will have our, we will continue doing these monthly forecasts in the winter. And then around March 1st is our goal. Around March 1st, we will put out our hurricane season forecast, and we are going to get into full analysis mode, and we'll have Jeremy Nelson on there because Jeremy and I work together on this. And then what'll be interesting, too, is to have Gary Lezak, because Gary's working on his as well. Frank, so now you just have to work for one cycle and just repeat it. Well, the problem is we've observed one cycle, right? October, November. Now we're watching it recycle for the first time. October, November. December, January. And then by February, Jeremy and I will have seen it happen twice. Usually we can get like 3 times before we put out our hurricane forecast. So that's what makes it a little difficult. So, you know, there's not as much like, oh, it did this time, it did this time, or yeah, that wasn't really a thing this time. So that's where it gets to be difficult because, yeah, we have fewer loops to be able to observe and compare. And certainly comparison is going to be a pretty decent part of the overall forecast picture. So then is each system on its own 64-day cycle? Yeah, Brian, the overall idea is the idea is like if there's a little Gulf low moving through like Wednesday, Thursday, right? 64 days before there was some sort of a storm system that moved through through that trajectory, and then 64 days ahead of time, every 64 days or so, plus or minus a day, 2 days, that sort of thing. But it's about 63 and a half to 64 days, yeah. That's where we're at. It's, it's very difficult. And this year, I'll be honest with you, this year's particular, like, at least when it came to last year, it was very clear, like, hurricane season was still going. Now we didn't have the hurricanes to give us the indicators, so now we're having to look at the other storm systems. Jan, is La Nina adding to the difficulty? Absolutely. This is like I said, this is goofy. Brian says, gotcha, I think. Ask questions if you have questions, but the 64 days, in its basic form, it's very easy. Every 64 days, you'll get the same kind of thing. But then you have to add the variables, the seasonal adjustments, the oscillation adjustments, the El Nino, La Nina, all that stuff. That's where it gets to be difficult, truthfully. How about you guys do a coffee talk together when you get it done? Oh, absolutely, yeah. When we get our hurricane season forecast done, absolutely we're going to have Jeremy on here, and we will absolutely have Gary on here. And I think that we'll probably have Gary on here before we do our hurricane forecast. Yeah. Hope, do you see any big one coming this year? Honestly, I haven't gotten to the point where I haven't gotten that far. We're still just in analysis, if I'm honest. Analysis and comparison. We have to see how these things kind of play through and cycle through. I haven't gotten that far yet. So we'll get there. We'll get there. At the end of last year, when you were tracking, how did you know when the cycle was over? It's not the same length every year, right? Correct. So Dana, late September, early October, you start to see the last cycle going away. Why? Because you're getting to storm systems that are not showing up anymore. So there is a bit of an overlap period, late September, early October, where there is a transition. And it's a very clear transition because all year you've been able to time these storm systems out, and that's not the case. And so by about October 10th, that's when you're usually set in your way to a new cycle. It's very clear because there are storm systems happening that are not on your calendar, so now you're taking notes. Where it gets to be difficult is if storm system happens on October 20th, right when the last year's cycle was, and that happened last year, you say, is this a leftover or is it just ironic that it's on the same day for both points, right? So again, the analysis in this is very, very important, and that's why I took so long to get the January and February forecasts done, because I did not have the time to do the analysis. I'm still very much in the, I did the January and February. Now I need to start getting into the hurricane forecasting, because they're two totally separate parts of analysis. January, February, what I do is I look at the temperature trends here locally that we've experienced, and I track that. If you look at my map, this is my log: high temperature departure from average, low temperature departure from average, rain chances. I log that. That's how I'm doing the monthly forecasts. But then when it comes to the hurricane season forecast, I don't look at that. I look at my notes, all of these little notes in here. And I have to go in and start comparing those storm systems, right? That's the difference. So it's different versions of analysis and forecasting using all the same data. Does that make sense? Hope, when does hurricane season start? June 1st. June 1st it starts. Yep. Yeah, exactly. With the 64-day cycle. Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64? Yeah. Well, it's just one of those things. I hope next year we get a shorter cycle, because the shorter the cycle, the more often it loops, and that gives us an opportunity to better analysis, to better analyze. I will say, though, one thing that's interesting, based on a longer cycle, that gives us some sort of an indicator that there may actually be an average hurricane season instead of an above average season. We'll have to see how that plays out, but fewer loops, meaning, yeah, we may have more of an average season. So still plenty of time. It's January, for goodness sake. We don't need to talk too much about hurricane season. But, you know, it's at least something worth mentioning. Nikki, be good. Hope all is well. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. But the LRC is a fascinating bugger, and I will tell you that that's going to be my big focus. I've got to do a traffic sponsor for our Louisville station. Yeah, but yeah, that's so a traffic sponsor, WESH stuff, of course, and then I'm going to work on the LRC quite a bit too. Last year I did a lot of work on last week I did a lot of work on the LRC, and this week I'm going to do a lot of work. You know, my goal is but I'm not going to give you a ton of information until March 1st. I need to really work on it and go over it with Jeremy and Gary and all that fun stuff. Cheryl says you're the smartest weatherman. I know. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I will say I don't think I'm smart. I think I'm a nerd. You know, I think that the nerddom helps. My brain is the slower part. I always, the brain has to play the catch up from the nerddom. So anyway, all right. Hey, let me give you a quick update on my old man before I wrap things up here. So yesterday, they moved Pop from the COVID ward to the non-COVID ward. He's still in the ICU. But being that we didn't have to gown up, being that we were able to just wear our masks yesterday in the hospital, first off, when we walked in and we said his name, he opened his eyes, focused on us, and he did his best version that he could of a smile. So he recognized us. Big deal. The second thing, when we talked to him and made a joke, he did his best version he could of a smile. Now, the dude is coming off such sedation for so long that it's going to take a while. So he's on no sedation, but it's taking him a while, and there's no like circadian rhythm to him. So he's just very tired all the time. But when I asked for him to squeeze my hand, he squeezed my hand. When Jason, my brother, asked him to squeeze his hand, he squeezed his hand. So our job now is continuing to try to engage him, try to wake him up. But, we're headed in the right direction. Little by little, we're headed in the right direction. We played him some music, and he was very happy, and he tried to kick his leg a little bit, just to show that he's, like, dancing. And so, again, it sounds great. I will tell you he's got a long road ahead, but your thoughts, your prayers, your good vibes that you've been sending, 100% are being felt. And you could tell he's not a happy camper. Like, you could tell he's really angry that he can't talk and that he can't move around. But you can also tell that when we talk to him, he's there, he's hearing it. So listen, it could take him 6 weeks, it could take him 6 months. I don't care. But he's there. And you could see in his face, you could see when he's looking at you and when he smiles, he's there. And so we will continue to play music. We will continue to make jokes to him, and he'll just continue to sit there and be frustrated that he cannot communicate. But that's okay. When he gets to the point where he can write, we'll get him a pad and paper and he can write. But little by little, he's getting there. And I am so grateful to you. I'm so grateful to all of the doctors and the nurses. They have been just incredible. And yeah, what can I say? I'm a grateful kid here. I really am. I'm a grateful kid. I'll be going again to visit Dad today. I'm also grateful, if I may. My management at WESH has been unbelievably supportive because it's so important that we get to him and try to wake him up. And so they've been giving me the space that I can go and visit Dad during they're very strict with this COVID outbreak about not only the number of people, but visiting hours. And WESH management has been so supportive, allowing me to do that. Because they know, look, at the end of the day, like here I am, I'm not working right now, right? So management has never questioned like if I'm putting in enough hours because they know if I'm awake, there's a fire to put out, I'm working, all that. So they've never questioned me and they're allowing me during my work day to go visit Pop. Because I work with Manalfi at night. I work with Kellyanne in the morning, yada, yada. So I'm so grateful to my management. I will tell you, if nothing else, listen, if nothing else, if there's one thing I could tell you, it's that I am a proud member of the WESH weather team because of the weather team that we have, but I'm also proud because this company understands priority and gives me the space needed. My brother Frank says, yes, my mother and wife have been great about me driving back and forth so much. I'm driving from Orlando to DeLand. My brother Frank is driving from Tampa St. Pete to DeLand. So yeah, you and your family have been wonderful as well. Your family has been supportive as well. My family, Jeannie has been single parenting quite a bit more because I have been traveling to and from the ICU. So having a supportive family and having a supportive boss and supportive team, I had a very brief conversation with Manalfi, and he's like, dude, whatever you need. He's like, the weather's quiet, and I know that, I know you work all the time, so if no other reason, I thank you for trusting us. I'm grateful that my employer, who, at the end of the day, them taking care of you is as important as you taking care of them, right? And I'm so grateful that my employer is taking care of me. So I wanted to share that because it may not mean a lot to you on where you get your weather forecast, right? Like you like Manalfi. Maybe you like me, I don't know. You like Kellyanne, you like Cam, you like Alex. But just know that I'm grateful to be here with that in the corner because that employer is taking care of me when I need it. That means a lot because I'm just an employee. At the end of the day, I am just a cog in the wheel, right? So I'm grateful. Bruce says, Santa hugs for your dad and your family. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. Yvette says, kudos, WESH. Family is important. Home family and work family. It's true. And it's not a matter of, I'm certainly not taking advantage. Believe me, I would truly rather not be driving to and from DeLand like every day. But there will be a time when I don't have to do that, and I will be darn grateful. Brian, I will always cherish the picture of us on the golf cart at the DeLand showcase. Your dad made a great impression on me. Brian, he better be at the showcase with us next year, right? That's my hope. He's Dad's dad. What can you say? Denise, always good to know that your work family has your back. And I will tell you, and again, I'm yentering on and I'll stop, but Tony is the third chief I've worked for. Tony's the first chief that puts his money where his mouth is. And when I say that, I mean, Tony is not just a chief. Like, I remember the first day I got sick. Tony watched me do the morning show, called and said, you're going home. And I said, no, I'm okay. This is years and years and years ago. And he said, no, you're going to go home and sleep. So on a Saturday morning, Tony got dressed and came to work and worked the entire rest of the weekend. I did the super shift back then. I can tell you something. No other chief would do that. If there's a problem, Manalfi is there to solve it for you. He truly is. He truly is family. I know I enter it up, and like Tony probably is not watching Coffee Talk right now. He's he peeks in every now and then, but like I'm not doing this because I'm trying to bribe Tony. Like the dude is the real deal. Kellyanne, Cam, everybody on our team is willing to do whatever for each other because we all have this family atmosphere. And I'm like spreading my propaganda, but this is the truth. I swear to you, nobody asked me to do it. Y'all opened up my door of my heart when it comes to my colleagues. They're great people, man. We could all work anywhere. TV comes and goes and all that, but we've got a darn good group of people, and I swear to you, I'm not lying. I swear to you, I'm not lying. It's a good group of people that would do anything for anybody. So anyway, Audra says, I get it. I've had terrible bosses. The group I work for now is amazing. What a difference that makes, too. Like, I've had terrible bosses. Tony's not my boss, by the way. He's the chief. He's the boss in the weather department, but like, we all work for the news department, and that's where the boss is. And I've got a great boss now. I've had a great boss for a while, which I'm grateful for. But anyway, all right, enough of that, right? Let's do one last check of that 7-day forecast, and then I got to get out of here. You got to get out of here. Let's go. Today, we're tracking showers. I will tell you that's probably something I'll be mentioning on the afternoon pick-me-up. And then it's turning cooler, my friends. All right? All right, listen. Be the sunshine in someone else's day, would ya? I will see you guys and gals for the afternoon pick-me-up. I'm going to have to find a spot in DeLand to do that. Yeah. Because the cell phone signal is horrid. Horrid. I can usually do my Coffee Talk afternoon from my cell phone. It's just horrid, so we'll have to figure that out. Are there any other weather people using the LRC beside you and Jeremy? Well, Gary Lezak, the L of the LRC is. And there's a couple others here and there. All right? All right, go. I'm going to go get ready to head into work, and then, I'll talk to you guys and gals later. Thank you so much.